All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about the Eco House. We'll break down what it is, how it actually works, and maybe most importantly, why it could be a massive game changer for how we live. Okay, let's just start with a number, 40 years. I want you to just sit with that for a second. That's the best guess for how much conventional oil we have left. It's a wake-up call, right? The era of just having endless, cheap fossil fuels, it's coming to an end. And here's another one for you, 40 centimeters. That's how much sea levels are predicted to rise by 2080. And why? Well, it's a direct result of all the CO2 we're putting out there. And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie scenario. This is right around the corner.
So you're probably thinking, okay, oil, sea levels, what's this got to do with buildings? Well, it turns out everything. These huge global problems, they're tied directly to something we all have in common, our homes.
I mean, think about it. Our homes are absolute energy hogs. They eat up about half of all the energy used in buildings. That means they are a massive source of CO2 emissions. So, the takeaway here is pretty simple, actually. If we're serious about tackling climate change, our own houses are one of the best places to start making a real difference. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How do we flip the script? How do we get our homes to stop being part of the problem and start being part of the solution? Well, it means we have to completely rethink what a house even is and what it's supposed to do. And that's where the whole idea of the Eco House comes in. And look, this is way more than just slapping some solar panels on a roof. We're talking about a whole new way of thinking, a totally different philosophy of design. See, an eco house isn't just some box you plop down on a plot of land. It's designed to be part of a bigger, living system. It's meant to work with everything around it, the sun, the wind, the local climate, instead of constantly fighting against them. And this really gets to the core of that mindset shift. You know, traditional architecture is often all about looks, right? The idea of a building being like frozen music. But eco-architecture, it's all about performance. It's not just about what a house looks like, it's about what it does, how it actually works as part of its environment. Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Well, we can break down these kind of complex designs with a couple of really simple analogies. This is where it all starts to click. First up, the tea cozy. Seriously, think of your house like a giant tea cozy for you and your family. It's such a simple but brilliant way to think about it. A cozy traps heat to keep your tea hot, right? Well, a super insulated eco house does the exact same thing, trapping heat inside so you barely have to turn on the furnace. All right, next analogy, the heat exchanger. The actual shape of a house basically acts like a thermostat. That ratio between its outside surface area and the space inside, that's the key. It determines how well the house holds on to heat or gets rid of it. And you can see this in action all over the world. In freezing cold climates, you want a compact, almost ball-like shape, kind of like an igloo. It has less surface area, so it holds on to every bit of warmth. But in scorching hot climates, you do the exact opposite. You want a long, sprawling house with things like verandas to create more surface area and let all that heat escape. But it's not just about being passive. An eco house can be an active player in the energy game. It can basically become its own little power plant, grabbing all that free, natural energy that's just sitting there. The two big ones you'll hear about are photovoltaics, that's PV for short, which turns sunlight into electricity for your lights and gadgets. And then there's solar hot water, or SHW, which just uses the sun's heat to, well, heat your water. When you put them together, you can seriously cut down, or maybe even completely ditch your reliance on the power grid. Okay, so we've talked tech, we've talked about heat, but an eco house is about so much more than that. There's this deeper, almost philosophical side to it. It's this idea of building with soul. This quote from the architect Christopher Day really nails it. He's basically saying that the materials we choose and the love and care we put into building with them, that imprints a spirit into the house itself. It's about moving away from all the anonymous factory-made stuff and towards something that actually feels personal, something that has meaning. And, you know, using local, natural materials has a ton of practical benefits, too. It ties the house to the history of the place, it slashes the energy needed to ship materials across the country, it keeps money in the local economy and supports local workers, plus these materials are often way healthier to live with. And in the end, it just gives a home its own unique character and identity. So, let's pull all this together. What does this all mean for our future? Where are we going with this? What it is a holistic solution. You combine that smart passive design, the T-Cozy idea, with active energy systems and really thoughtful materials. And what you get is a total reframing of what a home is. It stops being just a passive consumer of resources and becomes an active, positive part of a more sustainable world.
And that really leaves us with one last big question. What if the single best place to start building a better future is your own home? It's a pretty powerful thought, isn't it? And that's exactly the idea the Eco House makes possible.